The Biden administration announcing the U.S. is going to send Ukraine another $2 billion security package amid renewed warnings now that Russia could be planning a new military offensive timed around the one-year anniversary of Vladimir Putin's invasion. Kayla Tausch is in Washington this morning, and she joins us with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew. President Biden is going to be talking to his G7 allies and President Zelensky this morning. His visit to Ukraine and Poland this week meant to shore up waning support for a war that, as of today, is entering its second year. But in the last year, the United States has already provided $32 billion in military aid, $13 billion in economic assistance to keep the bills paid, and nearly $2 billion in humanitarian assistance. In all, Congress has greenlit $113 billion for Ukraine through September. Now, despite that figure being exponentially higher than any other nation has contributed, as a share of GDP, developed countries are all sending about 0.2%. And that's just to defend the land, which has been decimated by Russian airstrikes. Rebuilding carries a whole new set of costs, which the World Bank estimates will total $349 billion, with residential buildings and infrastructure being the largest portion of that. The private sector is now beginning to step in. 2 weeks ago, J.P. Morgan executives held a summit with President Zelensky in Kyiv, in his bunker, to discuss near-term access to capital and economic stability. The bank restructured the country's $20 billion in sovereign debt last year. CEO Jamie Dimon telling CNBC, "We're proud of our longstanding support of Ukraine and committed to doing our part to lift up the country and its people." The full resources of J.P. Morgan Chase are available to Ukraine as it charts its post-conflict path to growth. BlackRock's Larry Fink also consulted with Zelensky in September, later signing a memorandum of understanding for BlackRock to enlist other investors to help bolster the country's outlook. But there's no clear sign of when there would be a return, with both sides agreeing this is going to be a long haul. Andrew?
Well, that was my question, Kayla. How much of this is philanthropic, if you will, versus how much of this do you think is a business decision where there's going to be a return?
Well, certainly I think post-conflict there's a view that there would be a return on this investment and that you would have Ukraine as a long-term client going forward. But I think a lot of it is also philanthropic. I mean, J.P. Morgan has also given $10 million in humanitarian assistance to Poland to house refugees and help with the situation there. So, certainly there is a philanthropic element to this. But I think that there's also a view that, it's in the West's interest and it's in the interest of the global economy to bring this war to an end, and showing that there's that much support from private America and some of these really deep-pocketed companies goes a long way in doing that.